Hello, everyone. This is your host, Manoj Tandon. Welcome to another episode of Dark Rhino Security's Security Confidential. Today, we have another phenomenal guest. We're coming close to episode 200 here. But before I announce him, I got to encourage you folks to please hit the like and subscribe button. It makes a difference. We all work for algorithms, and it helps us get noticed, which means that we're able to continue to bring such phenomenal people and cybersecurity minds to your stations and to your cars or wherever you like to listen to us. So with that, let me introduce you to Maman Ibrahim. Now, Maman Ibrahim is coming all the way from the United Kingdom, and he is a cybersecurity expert in many ways. So let me tell you a little bit about him. He's a digital risk leader. He's been at this for 20 years, and he's helped transform cybersecurity from a compliance task into a strategic advantage one. And this is a topic we've spoken about on the show a few times, and we're going to hear it from him as to how he goes about it. He's also a principal partner at EugeneZonda, and he's the founder of Ginkgo Resilience. And he has led several secure digital transformations across industries like pharmaceuticals, manufacturing, and business services, saving companies over 150 million pounds through risk management and third-party oversight. He's also a huge contributor to OWASP, top 10 Agentic AI Risks, and he participates with the World Economic Forum's Cyber Resilience Compass. He's deeply involved in global cybersecurity. He's an expert, and we are honored to have him here. Maman, thank you so much for joining us today and this late evening for you.
Thank you, Manoj, for having me. When when I hear the way you are introducing me, it's kind of mind blowing. I'm just one of yours, guys.
Well, don't underestimate yourself. You have a heck of a background, and that's why people listen to you. And it's a heck of an accomplishment to save organizations over 150 million pounds, and it's also, getting folks to look at cybersecurity as a strategic advantage is a big deal. But before we go there, tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get here?
Long story. I come from Niger, Western Africa, and
Okay.
uh, I was born and raised in the Sahara Desert,
Wow.
and I did my study there up to engineering school. And one thing that I learned growing is first, there are two key things. The first one is that uh, you never go out alone because it's a desert. If you go out alone, you will be likely to be lost because of marriage and all this. So when you have marriage, normally, you see a house can be duplicated on another. You see, I can any
So
a
so
distance.
mirages are real. They're
They
it's
are real. Yes, they are real. It's not a joke. Yeah. So when you are, people are seeing the fake object or usually it's a house. The fake ones they are seeing it at different location because
huh.
they have from different angles. So when you see it in a different location, it means that this is the wrong one. Don't be lost. You only go to the ones that you see together, both of you at the same place. So this is one thing. The other thing is that because it's as the conditions are very hard, it's very hot. There's no water out there. You need to go with someone that will help you. It's most about we are calling it now anyway. Resilience is everywhere. It's more about resilience. If you with someone and we learn to respect people in that way, independently who the person is, you go with the person, and it's a kind of life and death condition for you. So you go, you respect people, you go with them, they go with you, whatever happens, you give a hand, whatever you can as well. So
I
this is
see.
what I learned. And so I did, I just learned at school, I was good in math and physics. I did my studies, secondary, high school, engineering school in Niger. I graduated as an engineer in radio communication. Radio
Okay.
communication, and uh, my first job was maintenance of a radio transmitter, which was brought to Africa in 1924.
Wow.
19
That's old.
with Of course, it was one of the oldest. So that's how I started. I learned science, electronics, telecommunication. Of course, with the it and I mean, it's not. I was graduated 40 years ago. So that was the one that we were using back then. It used to be in Senegal. It was brought to Niger when we become independent, and then that. And we are just trying. We're all of us kind of trying to make it work in the team. Then I transitioned to modern ones, and so on and so forth. And I then I moved to France to resume my studies for a PhD. I did some studies on optronics, the study of light emission lasers and all these kind of things. And I end up
Oh,
doing some research in computer-aided design of telecommunication systems uh, using artificial neural networks. 30 years back, I published two papers about artificial neural networks in that space. And
wow.
then, so from radio communication, I moved to telecommunication. Then naturally, I moved to networks because telecommunication become digital. And then the internet start looming around, and then we just moved there naturally. I moved to networks, and then at the end, I was getting more senior. Then I went into innovation, innovation management. I worked for a startup, and then created my own consulting companies, and moved to Michelin Group. Then decided to move to the UK because the kids are grown, and we are looking with my wife. We were looking for new challenges, and then we said, okay, let's do it the most complex that we can do. That's how we will learn. We moved to an English-speaking country, so I said, yeah, let's go. Driving was the first challenge. The second one is shopping, buying, shopping for groceries. So you cannot imagine how complex it can be. Even now, 6 years after, I'm using Google Translate sometime when I'm shopping. And
Really?
then,
Your English
yeah.
is really good though.
Oh, I learned English early in my early at school, and then I just carried on. But it's not such good as you think, because it's a because it's something that I used to share, so I can. It's easier to me. So that's a little bit what I did, and naturally I moved from startups to uh, controls. It started with the maturity models, CMMI, when it started,
Yeah.
and then naturally we wanted to have better control of software. Then we And at that time, also, I was lucky to have great mentors and be part of a few of some step change in innovation. We were the startup I was working for was the first one to create a kind of your website on a click, but your web it looks like hype, but it's only one page. And then we did the first one on WAP as well. on a
Huh.
handheld device. You remember the old
Yeah.
Palm?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember
So
Palm.
of course we so yeah, we did that, and many. I was lucky to be part of this kind of things. You see, neural networks, of course, in computer-aided design. I developed some models that are still valid in telecommunication that are
But
used.
though at that time when you did this, we didn't have the compute power or the scaling capability that we had today. So you were fairly limited in what you could do with it.
Uh, that's what we may think the lab, what we had at the lab at the time, the I think the most powerful that we have was a 128 meg of memory. So what we were using the weather system computing capabilities overnight, because I was working for a publicly owned lab in a university in France. So every night we send our calculation on the Cray, and then the following day we have the result in a file,
So
and
you
then we
you know
test
that
and we carry on.
it's so interesting you bring up the Cray. I remember the
Mm,
Cray XMP, the YMP,
mm, mm,
and to our audience, a lot of them won't remember what that computer was, but
mm.
the iPhone 4 had much more computing power
Yep,
than what the entire Cray platform did in its time,
yep.
which is amazing when you think about it, as to
Yeah,
how
yeah, yeah,
far
yeah,
you
yeah,
know. And we shrunk it down. That Cray was a park bench. If you remember,
yeah. But
it was literally a bench. You could sit on it,
yeah,
it used
mm,
huge amounts of power. And then we shrunk it down to nothing. Like it's
mm,
the modern chips.
yeah.
It
No, it's kind of, look, we are just now in history, but I'm not such old. Come on, guys.
I know. I remember that. I remember that time. I did work on. I don't know if you remember the VAX computer system.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So did a lot of
mm,
the did we used to run a lot of the engineering simulations on the VAX, and
yeah, yeah,
and we had to beg and plead if we were ever going to do anything on a Cray. We didn't have
yeah.
the access you did, but
Exactly,
now you
exactly.
don't need
So
any of that. I mean,
no, come on.
I'll run it on my smartphone if I want to, but
Oh yeah, yeah. You have you can do so much more than you can even think. The
so
and the most challenge, the biggest challenge at that time uh, wasn't data as we have now. It was more the processing power.
yeah,
This was a big challenge. Now we have everything, but we have another. It just shifts somehow. Yeah. So that's
yeah.
mm,
So one thing interesting here is that you've talked about taking cybersecurity from a compliance aspect
hmm
to a strategic advantage.
hmm
How do you get business leaders to see that? What's your approach? Because everybody thinks it's a pure technology problem. We need
uh,
more controls.
yeah. It is true. We need more controls, but I mean, we just tend to forget as experts that what we are doing, while we are enjoying it, we are not doing it for fun. We are doing it for business purpose. That's what we have the tendency to forget. I mean, one thing that we can see, think about tools.
Okay.
Every time that there's a problem to solve in an organization, uh, they bring new tools.
Sure.
And then new tools. What's happening with new tools? You have two two elements here. The first one is uh, waste. The waste is coming from duplication of features. Because what you need is not the tool, you need the features. For you, the features are the controls that you have, the capabilities that it provide. Okay, you have the duplication. And then because you have this duplication, this overlap, you have the problem of having the tools interface. You
Yeah.
see? And then you have, by design, you have a sense of security because you have 20 tools. But having these 20 tools means that you have to have them work in the same environment. You can say, oh, this one will focus on this type of application, on the other type of application, but all this, they are running on the same network anyway. So you create a complexity by itself, and the interface will be the weakest link in your security because they have to communicate. I have in my experience one thing that I did. I share it on an article where I had the same issues. Not same issue. I was asked to provide some advice after an acquisition of a company by my then employer. So they don't understand why they're having a lot of incidents.
Okay.
They said, okay, let's see how we can optimize. It was acquired 3 months before, and then I went there with a team of auditors that I was leading. Then we did everything. They were doing pen test on one side. We were trying to understand, and then I said, okay, guys, let's. I will do the inventory piece.
Okay.
We took a spreadsheet. We list all the tools that are available, all the security related tools. You see, cybersecurity tools. Then we listed them. I said, okay, let's see what are the key features. We didn't get into details. We just at the high level. We put all this. We did a matrix. We pulled, and then we say, okay, let's see the duplicate. At the end, we discovered that nearly 60% of the tool features were duplicated, a minimum. Right?
Wow.
And then by digging a little, the guys themselves, we get to a point with the engineers, the security guys told us, hey, by the way we configure this tool, we know that we have an issue because by default it's rejecting some transactions that are coming from the other tools because they have to check the logs as well. So this it become messy, and then when we at the end on this story, they couldn't understand how just by coming around having a spreadsheet here, and then we solved more than half of their problem. Their problem was coming from just inconsistency in the toolset environment, and this is still happening. I mean, if you look at a big organization where they have hundreds of security tools, you will
Yeah.
have the same pattern. Or you have your very advanced tool doing their job properly, but they are running on misconfigured system.
That
And then
that that happens all the time.
all the time, but it's, I mean, I guess that's what makes cybersecurity not so complex, really. And
So
and by doing so, you
why do we keep
optimize.
making the same mistakes, Maman? Why are the organizations making these same mistakes over and over again?
I guess perhaps there's it may be, uh, we can say, in cybersecurity space, uh, there is a somehow misunderstanding of risks. Managing risk is a risk management is a skill that is not yet uh, let's say, used extensively in that space. You have the GRC guys who are doing it, but it's hard to explain to someone uh, what the risks are about. The concept of risk is every service has their own concept of risks. You see,
Yeah.
this kind of thing. So it's creating a mess, really. But it doesn't mean that it's all of them are doing it uh, uh, are doing it in a wrong way. It's also sometimes there's a focus issue. They are not focusing on the right issue. Tech guys have the tendency to look at the technology. Wow, we have this
Very
tool.
much so.
Wow, yeah, this
Yeah.
shiny box. Exactly. While on the other side, the business leaders don't understand what's happening. They see it's just they are pouring money, nothing, and they don't know why, and they are just scared because they are seeing all this breach on the news.
Yeah.
So
Look at
one app,
Jaguar Land Rover recently in the UK.
exactly, yeah.
We don't know
So
yet what's gone wrong there. I
oh, there, it's a third party issue again. Yeah. So coming back to my example, I mean, if you can talk about CVE when you are with your guys, but I mean, no one understand what a CVE is in the business in the business teams. Tell them this. If we don't fix this gap or this vulnerability, we our we will not be likely to close the quarter kind of things. Financial or the statement will be wrong, or we cannot ensure integrity of the data and the results that are provided for reporting. They understand that. They know because they are the ones making the money, right? They are
yes.
bringing, yeah. So they know how to operate, but they don't understand what's behind. That's one thing. So you mentioned how to make it competitive advantage, right? How to make
Yes.
cybersecurity competitive
Yes.
advantage.
I,
Every business, when running their operations, they have a clear view, on what is the purpose, what is the strategies that they need to put in place with key goals to make money. Their business. Uh, the gap starts when we prioritize the asset. You see, when you ask for inventory first, it's very hard to have a consistent inventory across IT assets. This is first. Okay,
there's
this
been
as
that's a huge problem, so much so that
yeah.
there's companies that have grown up that are billion-dollar software. Well, Tanium, look at them. Look how
Mhm,
big they got just trying to
mhm,
solve that one issue.
yeah,
And it's still not
yeah.
completely solved.
No, it's still not. So if you want to make it to make cybersecurity a business advantage, you focus on your critical asset. You identify them. What are the assets who can mess up my organization's objectives? First, you focus on these ones. Okay, you make the decision. Okay, these ones we have to have to do whatever it takes to run them properly without any issue. Then, of course, when you classify, you have two, three, four, five groups depending on the complexity of your organization, and then dropping some to say, okay, these assets will not cover them is also a decision, but a conscious decision. So when you identify the ones that are critical and then you protect them at the right level, then you can make it a business advantage. No shortage. Okay, no, the system are running well. Data is integrity is maintained. The systems are accessible and available every time. All these kind of things. I'm not going to get into the metrics and all these kind of things because
No,
you
but
have few
that's very
metrics that you.
critical.
Yeah,
And so if I was to just for our audience highlight what you're saying here is that you have to, instead of looking at all the assets, look at the critical assets, identify those critical assets that are critical to your operations,
yeah,
and make the company resilient, for lack of a better word. Because if those
yeah,
assets go down, and
yeah,
those assets can be compute assets, they can be processes even, or
Everything. Yeah. It
everything,
can be
right?
people. Yeah.
It could be people. So
Yeah.
you look at those first, and you look
Mhm.
at putting a priority on securing the operational integrity of that ecosystem first. And
Mhm.
if you do that and you make a conscious decision to leave the rest of the assets out, then you are doing that consciously, but you have not sacrificed resilience.
Yes. Yes. But it doesn't mean that you go from uh, everything priority and nothing on the other
Sure.
side. Yeah, it's a kind of adapted protection. Yeah. So
That's
the
a
other
defense in
thing,
depth, actually. That is
yeah,
defense in depth. That's a
yeah. So this is for from tech perspective, a CISO should do that. Okay, they know anyway. Okay. The other thing is that there's another thing that the business leaders will need to know as well. Uh, when cybersecurity is effective, nothing happens.
then they're asking, why are we spending all this money?
Exactly, you have the point. And then at the end, CISO will come and say, "Okay, guys, my budget this year is 20 million, but we are extending. The company is growing. I need 5 million more." And I mean, a CISO will never get this 5 million if the CISO is good. Nothing happened. Why do you want us to give you five more? Because he was excellent, an excellent CISO. And then this is another challenge as well. Okay, so it means that as the CISO to from the way I think it, the CISO should evolve from the one who maintain cybersecurity. They should move to information security, where they embed that they become a leader of the organization. It should be real, not kind of a leader when who is in the background. We pull them when we need them to demonstrate compliance or this kind of thing. They
Right.
should take this leadership. They should be. They should go beyond technology.
So the issue with that, though, are manifold. One is culturally they're not viewed it's as a business person. Yeah, usually it's a technology oriented role. Second
Hmm?
issue is that they often are not independent of IT. They work for IT, for the CIO in many
Yeah.
instances. And that's a direct conflict of interest, because if you're going to tell your boss that something that they purchased or the way they configured it is wrong, that may not go so good when it comes time for your bonus, or
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah, that's a
Yeah.
conflict
So
of interest. So, and in most organizations, to really do what you're saying, that should be a position that's carved out and then reports to the board, or has to at least give advice to the board so that they can
yeah.
freely say what needs to be done without fear of reprisal from the rest of the organization.
Yeah. So I mean, as, to me, a CISO should not report to the board. But the CISO should report to the CEO, but he should be independent from tech.
Yes.
Because
Thank
from my experience, the best case where I saw an effective CISO team, okay, it's I saw it. I work with in that environment. It's when the CISO was reporting to the global head of assets protection, because
really.
I really and I mean it's still the case, and the company is just I have never seen it working so good, because in the same company we experienced when it was reporting to tech as well, where it was quite hard, but when it move out tech and report to the head of assets protection, then it starts working very well. And cybersecurity become a business issue because it's discussed at the same time that you are talking about protecting your revenue, protecting the operations. Oh, by the way, our reputation, we need to take care of compliance. When you are talking about compliance, you are not talking about uh, systems running the applications. You are talking about business processes. You are not talking about technology become an enabler for operations, not just uh, having operating for the sake of operations. Yeah, and then uh, everything was near perfect, really, and it's effective. So this is one of looking at
And
it.
was in the instance you're citing, was the CISO able to impact the culture of the company, or I should say, the culture of cybersecurity, to make
Yeah.
people more aware? And did they
Yes.
follow through?
Yeah, yeah, because that's why, as long as when you think like phishing campaigns that employee are reluctant to acknowledge the value, but if it comes from tech, it will be another issue because you have bad experience with technology every day, and then this comes on, and then it become another layer of let's say of complexity, or a waste of time for employees. When it become a matter of asset protection, it changes the narrative. The leaders were looking at it differently, and then it's not coming from tech. Tech was leading was addressing the issues that they used to have on our systems and whatever, uh, good or not. This is another issue. But everything cyber become an asset protection element, and it was looked as and it still looked as a key element to protect revenue, operation, and reputation.
Well, so, and can I ask, in this organization that you're speaking of,
Hmm?
who did the asset manager report to, or that group? Who did they report to in the company?
Uh, the, there were some few changes, but they reported to HR at a point of time, manufacturing on the other side at a point of time, and to uh, organizational excellence team on the other side. But still, there was an individual identified reporting to the head of asset protection. The head of asset protection is part of the leaders of the organization. It's not
Okay,
an XO, but it's a CEO minus two level.
got it.
Yeah,
So,
and
and
then they have an open entry, open access to the CEO because they are asset protection team. And asset means people, means equipment, means everything. Yeah.
that's very unusual. I have not heard that,
Yeah,
I have to say. I
yeah. I saw it once, only once. Yeah, and I worked in that organization. Yeah,
and you found that to be supremely effective. Now that you're the way you've described
yeah,
it, it makes sense, because we are saying protect the fundamental assets, find them, secure what's necessary, build the resilience. And if you have a team identified for that, and that's where the CISO sits,
yeah,
that
yeah.
makes sense. I would not have thought of that.
Yeah, I mean, it was surprising when we were all surprised to see that it was an effective option when it happened. Yeah.
So what do organizations do about third parties? As we're finding out, this has been, so you're saying Jaguar Land Rover in the US, we had Target stores,
Mm-hmm,
huge breach,
mm-hmm,
costed them hundreds of millions of dollars, and there's been many since then.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
How do
So
you? What's the? That's a tough one. How do you?
No, it's not. It's not. It's.
Because your third parties often there's in these there's smaller companies, right? And they don't have all the resources that the larger organization does too. So
Yeah.
so what do you do?
So, uh, uh, I guess it's the perspective that I'm taking is completely different from the usual one.
Please.
Uh, we see every breach now involve a third party. Okay? But let's go back to the conception of third party itself. First, the procurement.
Yes.
In every organization, when there is a need to optimize cost, okay, there's
Procurement,
an
you mean?
element that is it's a procurement-led savings. And then we save money during procurement. We are happy. We celebrate. Okay. But on the other side, we never think about the resilience costs of procurement saving. And
Well,
by the way,
one
I
is a
have
hard cost, the other is a soft number, right? So
but it's still the same. The one
I'm
is
not
make
arguing that.
is
I'm just saying
yeah,
that's how, the someone's going to
yeah.
look at it and
So,
say, I can
so
point to, I know what they saved me, but nothing happened. So what did you save me?
yeah. So in this case, I'm developing this point in a paper. It will be published shortly about it. I'm developing this topic. It means that every time that you go to procurement, they have a mandate to make some savings. So it means that when they negotiate, they make some trade-offs. Sometimes they make trade-offs on things that should not be negotiated at all, because they are coming with a cost for resilience. We mentioned the critical asset, the crown jewel of the company.
Yeah.
When you are dealing about that, you should not, uh, let's say, you should not do it in a kind of procurement led savings mode. You look at it from resilience way. You do your procurement should focus on resilience instead of savings. Okay, this is one element. The other element is that the it's about outsourcing cybersecurity. Okay,
Okay.
the tendency now, in the same way, companies saved money by outsourcing operations, support functions, development in application and development
Yeah.
maintenance space. They are doing the same for cybersecurity. And by doing that, there is still a concentration now of third party operating for many big organizations who wanted to optimize their cost. At the end, a risk on one supplier become a systemic risk, a global systemic risk worldwide. That's why last time when there was an issue in the airport, I heard Brussels airport was
Yeah.
having issue. Few minutes after it was Heathrow, and then it propagated. I mean, it's just. I think that's how what we need to fix first, and being sure that in the same way we manage risk for the organization, we manage it over all the chain. When we are doing our procurement led savings, we need to be sure that we are aware of the consequences
So
and get
Mama,
prepared for
that
that.
you're going to run square into a challenge there, right? Because again, I'm going to play devil's advocate on this.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Take the other side. So when I look at the procurement, they are their financial incentives, their bonuses, All these, how they're measured, is going to be on the amount of savings that's delivered. And if
Mhm.
we, and if on the cybersecurity side, or we should say on the resilience team, let's call it that for a second, they come
Mhm.
in and they say, well, you cannot negotiate on these elements because they are critical and they can cause a systemic risk. They're going to yell, they're going to go to the CEO and they're going to say, you want me to save money,
Mhm.
and there's a good amount of money we can save here by going to cheaper doing this, but the security team is saying don't do this. So you can't hold me accountable for the cost saving then. Just saying
No,
that's a
but
scenario, not saying it'll happen all the
okay,
time.
okay. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, but uh, w- let's talk about resilience.
Okay.
I mean, I don't see the resilience team if there is one, because you cannot have one resilience team. The
That's right.
resilience team is resilience is a risk, then it will spread everywhere. It means that ultimately the board is accountable for the resilience.
Yep.
They make the arbitration. Okay, ultimately it's them, because the board is an entity. Okay, when you report to a board, I mean, you report to an entity, you don't report to a person.
Yep.
You see? So it means that the CEO who is leading the company is the one who should be accountable for resilience. Okay? When he decides to to give mandates to procurement, he must be sure that this mandate include maintaining the resilience of the organization. That's it. You do the savings, but you do it responsibly. That's it's. I mean, and also procurement. Okay, they are not experts in cybersecurity or cyber resilience
Yeah.
or
No, they're not.
resilience. Don't.
They're
I'm
just
not
seeing how
blaming
much
them.
things cost.
Exactly. So they are given mandate, guys. This one. Here's how you need to manage it, and I know how it works. I did strategic sourcing as well. I know how it works. But uh, in that case, before we start thinking about what we are going to implement as a what is the strategy, we worked on the IT strategy of the company, and what how the company see itself in the years ahead. That's how we started, from the strategy, and then we put everything together to come down to the mandate that we were given to launch the negotiations and all this kind of thing. You see, to frame uh, the procurement, the strategic sourcing initiative. It should come from the highest level of the company. If they are given a mandate to do savings, and of course it's their job as well. I'm not saying they should spend money without counting or whatever, but it comes with a cost on resilience. Every single saving that is done is paid uh, in resilience. Yep, this one. And by concentrating all this organization concentrating their cybersecurity effort onto the same third party, they create a systemic risk. And then we'll not be surprised to see every now and then a kind of cyber attack spreading all across the world in big organizations, only because one third party is breached. And sometimes you don't see it coming, because the third party is there, and then it's a small company, 100-person company, and it mess up all the airport for for a week. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
mm, mm,
So let's talk about another third party, which is
mm,
semi-intelligent, and that's AI agents. You know, we can't have a
mm, mm,
cybersecurity show without talking about AI anymore, so
mhm,
we're obligated to do it. But
mhm,
agentic AI risk, it's a topic
mm.
that you're familiar with.
Let me just add one thing about the third
Please.
party procurement. Okay, you see, uh, your point about incentives and all these kind of things. Procurement should focus on eliminating redundancies. You see, in the purchasing process, control over what is acquired, but not, let's say, let resilience go away uh, as well. You see, when you focus on redundancies, you make real site savings. When you focus on reducing cost only, you it comes with a resilience cost. My last word on this one. Yeah,
That's very good advice.
yeah.
That in order to have that be implemented, it has to come from the CEO's office. It's going to have to come.
Of, I mean, it's a
Uh,
organizational decision. Yeah,
yeah, it's an
yeah, mm,
organizational decision for that
yeah,
kind of a focus shift to happen. But I
yeah.
agree. I
Mm.
agree. So give us 5 minutes on agentic AI risks. What kind of I know that it's a topic on its own. We could do a podcast on it by itself, but
Yeah, yeah.
we promised to get you to dinner, so we're going to keep that promise. So in 5 minutes, what
Mm.
is 5 6 minutes? What are some of the things in agentic AI risks that you are seeing as part of the OWASP infrastructure or entity, I should say?
Yeah. So, of course, now what we see every day is a specific focus on what AI produces with all the tools that we are seeing,
Sure.
the way it's automating things. Okay. Now, OWASP is looking on the dark side, how AI learns.
Okay.
Okay. So it means that by putting it this way, uh, it brings few challenges. You see, ethics one. Okay, well, I'm not going to say them all, but you have fairness, transparency, and all these kind of things. Okay,
Yeah.
then you have a technology one. Technologies that will cover all these learning models, the algorithms, the weightings, and all these kind of things. Okay, accuracy and all this. Okay, and then you have the governance piece, the governance that allowed to create an environment that can uh, uh, assess and mitigate the risks that AI brings in an organization.
Okay.
And there's no generic pattern. Every single organization is different. You see, so this is one thing, and where I see the danger here, it's in these hidden layers. Okay, data poisoning. Data poisoning is one of the issue of it. Uh, I'm not going to go to cover all the OWASP elements. Okay, it's public. It's you Google
Sure.
OWASP. It's short, but only let's see the dangers here. Data poisoning. So garbage in, garbage out. If you
Sure.
poison data, of course, the outcomes can be devastating for many people. It can be very bad. The other one, model drifts. When model drift, it drifts silently. You have your model, it's working very well, everyone is happy, accuracy is there, and then we just forget. And it naturally drifts, and then until it's too late. and we cannot predict the consequences of the drift. The only way to control drifts, from my perspective, because there are technical ways of doing it, of course, but it's not yet. I mean, I don't trust all this kind of thing. I know that it can be. The only way to do it is to have people, engineers, being educated about these risks, given the authority to act, and having regular controls, regular tests. It can be weird to say, oh, you have an AI and then you test the AI every week to see if it's drifting or not, because it's not done for that. Usually, when you have one working very well, when you have a good accuracy, then you just get it to work 24/7 for 6 months, and then
Right.
you discover it drifted. You see, but if you a kind of adapted frequency. And also, the other element that I can see that is happening, starts happening. I didn't see it yet widely, is adversarial manipulation, effective one. You have attacks where you breach it, but this kind of adversarial where I mean, you make the system behave, you keep the system behaving right as expected, okay,
But
and
you exploit.
then yeah, and then it's not drifting, but it's you manipulate the system to give wrong answers, or to kind of to mislead in some particular cases.
Query injection.
Yes, yeah, it's one of them. You see,
Yeah.
and this is what I see as a danger. So there's also I mentioned I have two papers, one about procurement-led savings, another one about outsourcing cybersecurity, creating systemic risk. Okay, I have another one where I covered the AI bias beyond gender and race.
Are these papers, by the way, available to the general public?
Yes, yeah, they are published some of them are online. They are. They will be available on CIO.com, CSO online, and the ISACA, the ISACA website for the last one, where I cover how everything that we overlooked, because gender and race is very sensitive, very visible, and people are reacting immediately to it. Hand, you
So,
see, yeah.
Maman, we have not even scratched the surface on this. And
No,
when your paper comes out, we should discuss it further because we're already at the hour. So
yeah.
I also wanted to leave you with a minute to say anything you wanted to our audience and to know about that you're working on or follow or whatever you'd like to plug.
Uh, I mean, I'm already talking a lot. I'm publishing a lot of articles. Some of them, yes, I wrote them more than 20 years ago. I just refreshed them, and it's a kind. The patterns of the issues that we are having are coming far from the 90s, and some of them are the consequences. You just need to stand. But I'm they can connect or send me messages. I always respond. I always
Okay.
respond, and I'm giving back uh, uh, to I won't say to the society. It looks like I'm I'm saving the world, but I'm giving back uh, by monitoring, coaching, and monitoring people.
Oh, this is fantastic,
Yeah,
Maman, and we appreciate you being on the show. It was a lot of fun. Thank you for giving us your deep insights, and don't be a stranger here. If when you publish something, you want to talk about it, come back on the show.
I will just tell me or send me the key.
We'll be happy to do it.
Thank
But
you.
I know we went 5 minutes over. We apologize
That's
about
fine.
that. But thank you so much for taking some time out of your evening to do this.
My pleasure. Thank you. Take
Thank,
care.
thank you so much.